Hey, I'm going out with my friends, so give me some money. About $2,000 should be enough.
No way, that's a lot of money. What? Marrying a doctor was all about the money after all, wasn't it? That's why you're so self-centered when it comes to money. Truly, what an unpleasant woman. Being ill and unable to live normally without a respirator, and needing a wheelchair to go anywhere, that's me. Despite my condition, my husband, who wanted to marry me, turned out to be problematic because of his son. The son, now in college, wanted to travel with his friends and demanded money from me, but with monthly expenses for the respirator rental and others, I just couldn't afford it. That's impossible.
What? Really, you're so annoying. Always acting like a mother, and if you're useless, just leave. I wish you'd just disappear.
After berating me, he unplugged my respirator and stole the money from the dresser before leaving. What should I do? I'm getting more and more breathless. My name is Sarah, and I turned 42 this year. Now I live happily with my husband, Mike, and our 15-year-old son, but there's something inseparable from my life. That's the respirator. From a young age, I was frail. While other kids went outside to play, I preferred reading books and watching movies at home. Of course, I wanted to play outside too, but my body just couldn't handle it. Won't you go outside to play?
I get tired if I go outside. Today, I'm going to read the book I got recently. I see, but staying inside all the time will make your body weak, so try to go outside and play with everyone once in a while. Okay.
Back then, my parents probably didn't suspect I was sick, thinking I was just not physically strong. However, I fainted during a PE class when school started. Initially thought to be heat stroke, hospital tests revealed I had a rare disease. I could live normally for now, but gradually, I would lose mobility. I remember the doctor telling me that clearly.
Am I sick? It seems so, but it's okay, the doctors will surely cure you. One day, you'll be able to play with everyone. So believe in that, okay?
Just starting elementary school, I was still a child then, realizing my condition would only worsen. Maybe it's incurable. I understood that. My parents were trying their best to cheer me up, but I could sense their deep anxiety. Well, but no one knows what the future holds. I didn't take the situation too seriously, being optimistic. However, as I reached upper elementary and middle school, even walking a little would make me breathless, and I had to attend a correspondence high school. Just moving around the school was hard for me. But staying home to study, only going out for hospital visits. Since then, I found no joy in life. Sarah, how was your study today? It must be getting harder.
Shut up. Don't just come into my room.
I'm sorry.
What do you need? If it's nothing, then leave.
My parents were always supportive, and I knew it was wrong to speak to them that way. I was a high school student, and deep down, I understood that. Why did I lash out at my parents like that? They've done nothing wrong. I should be more grateful. What am I doing? I fell into self-loathing, unable to control my emotions. Around me, everyone was putting on makeup, dressing up, and going shopping. Whenever I had a little break, seeing people enjoying their high school life by visiting Disneyland, going camping, or posting on social media, really made my heart ache. Why couldn't I enjoy life in the same way? During my middle school years, I was different from the others, so I didn't make many friends, and I was attending an online high school, so I didn't have new friends. The only people I talked to were my family. I felt as if I were trapped in a birdcage. I even started to feel that sensation. Why me? Why? Why wasn't I born healthy? I once let my emotions get the better of me and blurted that out to my mom. She said to me, "I'm sorry I couldn't give birth to you with a healthy body." Of course, my illness wasn't my mother's fault. And my parents might have been even more worried about me than myself. I regretted saying it, but at the same time, I acutely felt the unfairness of the world. However, when I turned 20, I was hired by a major company through a disability program. I could earn my own money and found hobbies I could do from home. I was growing mentally and started to find joy in life, little by little. Then, before I knew it, I turned 30. How have you been feeling lately? Are you more settled with the medication you're taking? Thanks to the new medication you prescribed, I can live much more comfortably. That's good to hear. A new doctor had arrived at the clinic I visited weekly. He was older than me and had a very calm demeanor. He was sincerely committed to my illness, and since the only time I interacted with the opposite sex was during hospital visits, it certainly became a place of comfort. Over time, as we got closer and he suggested that going out a little when I felt well could be good for my health, I boldly asked him out for a meal. There's an Italian place right in front of the hospital I've wanted to try.
Let's go. Actually, you're my last appointment for the morning. How about right now?
It was my first time having a meal with a man, and I was really nervous, but I had a great time. I had always been shut in at home, I had hobbies, but I had never been in love before. I thought no one would want to be with someone who had an illness like mine, and I would live alone forever. So, I was truly thrilled. I felt an excitement I had never felt before and my heart was racing, but it was just as exhausting. But from that day on, we went out to eat several times. Every time we did, he complimented my appearance, calling me pure and wonderful, and I had feelings for him too. It didn't take long for us to become a couple. I'll support you forever, please marry me. I couldn't miss out on marrying him, I felt it was my only chance to be happy in life. I knew that intuitively, and it was partly because of my illness. I couldn't go out much, and all my work was done from home. Going out for a meal was the most I could do if it was after a hospital visit. Staying overnight somewhere was likely out of the question, and marrying me would mean imposing various restrictions. Moreover, he had been married before, so he understood married life better than I did. In this situation, he chose me as his partner for a second marriage. I couldn't have been happier, and I felt it was fate.
With pleasure.
Me too, and I don't know how he'll react, but I'll talk to my son properly today. We can start living together later, right? Of course. I'm not in a hurry, I just want us to be a wonderful family together. For him, the issue wasn't just my illness. He had a son from his previous marriage, who was becoming a middle schooler this year. It's a sensitive age, and just the fact that his father was getting remarried could upset him. And the new stepmother has an illness that prevents her from going out much. Honestly, I lacked confidence in myself and wondered if we could really get along, if his son would accept me. But worrying wouldn't help, so I decided to just see how things would go. A week later.
Well, I think because of his age, he might not talk much, and since our rooms are separate, it should be okay. I'd like to move around next month.
I'm fine, but are you sure it's okay to rush this much? It's his rebellious phase, so if he dislikes it, he should say so. But I haven't seen any signs of him being unhappy, so I think it's fine. Besides, he's been without a mother since he was little, so I think he's been feeling lonely, and I'm counting on your support from now on. Indeed. I think what he's saying is right. He's busy working as a doctor, after all. There are times when he has to work night shifts, and without a mother, it's certain that his son feels lonely. I don't think I can be his mother, nor do I intend to overstep, but if I could relieve his loneliness a little. As a mother, I want to do what I can for him. That was the feeling. And so, our life together as three began. I am looking forward to living with you. Sure. He's not much of a talker, maybe it's because of his rebellious phase, or perhaps he hasn't accepted me yet, but he didn't talk much. He wouldn't even meet my eyes, and basically, there was no communication at all, but gradually, he seemed to get used to it, started to meet my eyes, and even spoke to me. At the same time, my husband's work became busier, so I spent more time alone with him. I'm going out to eat with friends now, can you give me some money?
Would $30 be enough? After eating, we might go to karaoke or bowling, so that's definitely not enough. I need at least $100.
No.
I think that's too much, really.
You have no experience going out with friends, so what do you know? It costs a lot just to hang out with friends. Isn't that part of a mother's duties to provide? Mother's duty? I couldn't respond. Looking back, I think there was some kind of curse. No matter how hard I try, I can't become his mother. That's why, when he needs me, I want to respond with all my heart. I wanted to play the role of a mother, that's what I thought. Looking back, there was no need to give a middle school kid $100 just to go out. But, since I worked and had a decent income and savings, I ended up giving it to him.
Also, I might stay at a friend's house, so don't tell Dad. Stay over, don't you have school tomorrow? Sure, there's school, but that's none of your business, right?
Should I really let him be this free? My husband was quite strict, with set curfews and limited spending for outings. I know I shouldn't do this, but I don't want to be disliked by him. Maybe he's starting to open up, and if I get too strict, he might close off completely. That's what I was afraid of.
All right then. Take care.
He ignored me and left, but maybe it's better to let him be somewhat free? I'm not his mother, so I guess if I act too much like one, he'll resent it. And from his perspective, it's probably a mind-your-own-business situation. I thought so, but ignoring my husband's parenting style pained me. I know raising a child isn't easy, but I didn't expect this many problems. Yet that night, I was alone with my thoughts and ultimately decided I couldn't stay silent about him. So, the next morning, when my husband came back, I told him everything.
I think it might be his rebellious phase, but we can't just leave it as is.
Yeah. Thanks for telling me. I knew there would come a day when he wouldn't listen to me anymore.
Well, some of it can't be helped, I suppose. Indulging him is wrong, but being too strict is also a problem. I'll think about it.
My husband seemed troubled with parenting, but I couldn't provide any concrete advice. I wanted to be helpful, but I was of no use. That frustration was there, but I continued to support him in my own way. So, just like that, he graduated from high school, and although it wasn't from a top-notch school, he went on to college. I was glad he really went through with it. My husband and I were happy, but there was something even more serious going on. It was my health.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
The medication has been helping a lot, but it might be getting a bit hard to breathe.
About a month ago, my health started declining, and recently, I've been having trouble breathing even when just lying down. According to my husband, my illness is progressing rapidly. I can no longer work. My respiratory system is failing, so it looks like I'll need to live with a ventilator in the future. My legs are weakening too, so I'll need a wheelchair when going out. That's how advanced my condition was. You're kidding, right?
Don't worry. I'll always be here to support you. So, rest easy. I won't leave you alone.
Thanks to my husband's words, I managed to keep my spirits up, but as weeks passed, just as he said, living a normal life became increasingly difficult. Why? We had a good marriage and built a lovely home. His son was growing up and starting his own journey, and we were supposed to live happily together, just the two of us. But now, I've become dependent on a wheelchair and ventilator to live, and doing anything on my own has become a struggle. Still, I didn't want to be a burden on my family. That's why I had been using my savings to hire a helper, trying not to impose on anyone as much as possible. Could you lend me some money? Are you going out with friends? I'm planning a trip. It's probably going to cost about $2,000.
What? I really can't afford that kind of money.
So, what? You want me to be the odd one out? Huh? It's not that I want to say that. But, honestly, just my medical expenses are costing a fortune every month. Of course, my husband, being a doctor, wasn't financially struggling. However, I wanted to avoid causing any inconvenience, so I've been paying for everything from my savings. Being asked to prepare $2,000 immediately for a trip with friends is not so simple.
I understand what you're saying, but that amount is quite significant.
I see. Playing the mother figure, but you don't care about me, do you?
That's not true at all.
But, well, I don't need your permission anyway. You must have some cash stashed away, right? He said this and began rummaging through the dresser in my bedroom.
Wait a minute. What are you planning to do? Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, you've saved up quite a bit here. You can't spare a mere $2,000? Playing the mother role but useless when it counts. After saying that, he stole the cash I had saved and put it in his pocket. Why would he do such a thing? Surely, there's a line between what's right and wrong. I thought he knew the difference. But I was truly shocked and disappointed. I never imagined he would go this far.
Hey! I thought you understood right from wrong, but what are you trying to do? You with all this money, it's useless to you. I can use it much better. Stop it! It's not too late, give the money back. Shut up. I stayed because you were good with money, but honestly, you were annoying. I can't milk anything more from you, so just disappear.
What is he saying? That was the moment. He glared at me, approached slowly, and then, unbelievably, he pulled the plug on my ventilator. What in the world is he doing?
Whoa, cough. Why don't you just ask your beloved husband for help? Oh wait, it's not because you love him, but because you love money, right? LOL.
After saying that, he left me behind, but I started to panic a little. It's not like I can't breathe at all without my respirator. But I felt like I had just sprinted, it was truly suffocating. My husband was still sleeping after his night shift, and I couldn't even make it to his room. I collapsed right there, struggling for breath, desperately trying to stay conscious. Then, about 30 minutes must have passed. Luckily, my husband found me on his way back from the bathroom, and I was finally freed from my distress.
Are you okay? Cough, cough. What in the world happened?
Actually, I was relieved to have been saved, but more than that, I was terrified. I had learned the true nature of my husband's son. Living with such a person is impossible. I told my husband everything that happened. The life-threatening situation, and how he had smirked and run off with only my money. My husband was visibly upset, his fists clenched and his body shaking slightly. I could tell he was really angry, and I was glad he was on my side. I truly felt grateful from the bottom of my heart.
That damn son. I am so sorry. It's not your fault, but I can't live with that boy anymore.
Of course. I agree.
But just kicking him out won't make him understand. I have a plan.
A plan. Though I was grateful my husband was on my side, it seemed he wasn't planning to just kick him out. I wanted to sever ties immediately. What was my husband thinking? But, when I heard his plan, I somehow agreed. Simply kicking him out would only end our relationship as family, he could end up doing the same thing in the future. I thought it wouldn't fundamentally solve anything. A week later. It seemed the boy had returned from his trip. I'm home. Huh? What's this smell? Welcome back.
I just got back from a business trip too, but do you smell something rotten? What? You were on a business trip? I thought you were at home.
No, if something had happened, Sarah would have contacted me. I thought everything was fine. Why are you panicking? The moment my husband said that, he turned pale and ran to our bedroom. He probably never expected this situation. After he left, my husband was supposed to be at home asleep. He probably thought my husband would take care of everything even if my respirator was unplugged. Imagining what he would be told upon returning, he really didn't think ahead. But now, the situation was different from what he expected. My husband didn't know that the power to my respirator had been unplugged, and there was a stench of decay in the house. He must have had various suspicions, but the most likely one, he was desperately trying to deny as he ran to my bedroom. What? Oh? What are you doing here? I thought you might have gone to the police station. No. What's going on? And this smell? Maybe I left some meat defrosting in the kitchen, and it rotted because it's summer. But to come back so innocently after unplugging someone's respirator. If you had even a shred of guilt, you'd go to the police. But you don't, do you? As I said that clearly, he fell silent. Probably, I, with my respirator unplugged, would have simply stopped breathing. And there she was, left here just like that. He must have thought so. But, this was a strategy devised by me and my husband, and he fell for it spectacularly. How frantic he must have been. To have taken a life with his own hands. That's why, I suppose, he came running to my bedroom, pale as a ghost, sweating cold sweat. But, it didn't come to that because my husband helped. If there had been some mistake, and my husband hadn't noticed, my life would have been in real danger. You do realize what you've done, right? In the worst case, it would have turned out exactly as you thought. Wait a minute. You tricked me? I was really shocked. Please stop this. This kind of thing is ridiculous. What you've done is unforgivable. It's the worst thing a person can do. No. I just thought to make her suffer a bit, nothing more. I mean, the problem is you're taking this lightly. What kind of trouble did she cause you? And yet, you're not human. You scoundrel. My husband shouted, grabbing him by the collar, and our son just looked down and fell silent. He's probably never been scolded like this by his father before. That's why he must be so shocked, and I think he's even feeling scared. But I won't let him say he couldn't imagine how his father would react. As you can guess, I'm cutting ties with you. From now on, live as you please. I'm not paying for your college anymore, nor do I care about your living expenses. We are completely severing our parent-child relationship. Wait a second. Don't say things like that. That's right. You are misunderstanding. It wasn't intentional. What are you talking about? I just tripped. There's no proof I did it intentionally, is there? I never thought he would resort to such desperate excuses at the very end. I thought he had reflected a bit after being scolded by his father. But as soon as he realized he was being cut off, he started making excuses. Without tuition or living expenses, he wouldn't be able to survive. He might be thinking he doesn't want that. He's really finished as a person. There's no sign of remorse or desire for atonement towards me. It seemed like my husband was shouting for no reason. He didn't understand the meaning at all. But my husband was clearly disgusted by this statement. Unbelievable. To think not a single word of apology would come from your mouth till the very end. And you say there's no proof you did it intentionally? What are you talking about? Everything you've done is caught on camera. Caught on camera? What do you mean? So that we'd know immediately if anything was wrong, surveillance cameras were installed. I've seen all the footage from those cameras. Of course, they also have audio, so I know exactly what kind of horrible things you've been saying. He never showed any interest in me, so he probably didn't know there were cameras in my bedroom. But that's not the problem. The problem is that he lied to his father till the very end. Why couldn't he just apologize honestly? Even if there hadn't been any cameras, if he had admitted his actions and apologized, maybe his father would have forgiven him. But instead, he chose to try to escape his guilt. Now he has no excuses left, and completely out of options, he suddenly began to kneel down. I don't want to see such a performance, but I remained silent. I'm really sorry. I'll apologize as many times as it takes, and I will reflect. I swear I'll change. Please forgive me. Either leave right now or be reported to the police. Choose one. There's footage from the cameras, so you understand the seriousness if we go to the police now, right? Wait a minute. Are you really going to turn your own son over to the police? What you've done is that serious, and I don't consider you a son anymore. A person who treats others like tools doesn't have human rights. When my husband said that, he collapsed from his knees and began to cry. He always had a smug look when taking money from me, but now that confidence was completely gone. Maybe he's regretting what he did and is starting to reflect. But perhaps it's not reflection, just regret. But showing me such a miserable sight, I have no intention of forgiving him. Surely, I may have caused trouble due to my illness. Even so, this is unforgivable. People who can't make such judgments don't need to have a conscience at all.
Stay away from this house from now on. And don't contact us at all. If you can keep to these two things, we will no longer do anything. So, are you telling me to quit college? I have no place to live and no money. I don't care about that, it's your problem. I assume you understand, but we will not provide any financial support from now on, so don't expect it. Oh, and by the way, you will have to return the money you took without permission. I'm out of a job, and I can't even live properly. How could I possibly pay back money that's already been spent? No job, so I won't pay. You really think such a naive story is going to work in the real world? Keep spouting nonsense, and don't forget that I can always talk to the police.
When the husband said this, he couldn't respond. He seems defeated, but I suppose he wouldn't act honestly unless spoken to this way. Then, within that day, he packed his bags and was thrown out of the house. I don't know what he'll do from here, but everything is the result of his own actions. If he properly reflects on what he has done, maybe a better life awaits him. But if he keeps blaming others and complaining, he's bound to continue walking the same path in life.
I'm really sorry for bothering you until the very end. But thank you for being on my side.
I vowed when we got married, no matter what happens, I'd stay by your side, continue to support you.
Thank you, really, thank you.
Because he said that again, I felt a bit warmer in my heart. It's not like I did anything special, but my husband ended up severing ties with his family as a result. I felt a bit sorry and grateful for him, but it's good he's been so consistent. I can't live without my husband's help. That's why I think, if there's anything I can do for him, I should do whatever I can. Life is something you can't go through alone, and at some point, you'll need someone's help. Is there someone around who would extend their hand to help in such times? If no one extends their hand, it only shows that person's true worth, and I plan to continue living happily while supporting each other with my husband.